Hello and welcome to the Cordie YouTube channel, where we aim to give you all the help, technical advice and all the practical tips you need to get through your CIPS qualifications and your exams. I'm joined today by Matt McIntosh from the Cordie office, and he's one of our apprenticeship learning coordinators. He's going to talk us through this essential core ingredient for the apprenticeship we call the KSBs. So Matt, welcome to the channel. Tell us please, what are these things called KSBs?
Hi Ian. So the KSBs are the key knowledge, skills and behaviours that an apprentice will be required to obtain throughout their apprenticeship and form the key attributes and competencies for them within their role as well. The KSBs are a massive part of the apprenticeship because they form the part of the training and the programme itself, but they also have an impact and form part of the endpoint assessment phase of the apprenticeship itself.
Okay, so it's almost like these are the core ingredients or the specification of the apprenticeship itself. So K is for knowledge, S is for skills, and the B is for behaviours. Just how important are these then for the apprenticeship?
They're really important because every apprentice has joined the programme to want to develop and learn further and progress themselves. And I think the knowledge can be gained from the theoretical side of studying the CIPS exams, but the skills and behaviours strengthen that further by looking at the practical application and how that is applied and the why in terms of what the apprentices do and how they influence and impact what they're learning. So it delves deeper into that and should, in theory, help them progress further in their roles because they're developing that greater understanding and overall more well-rounded procurement knowledge, but also the skills and behaviours.
Yeah, okay, that's great. And so there's lots of benefits in these KSBs?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the KSBs will not give them also the opportunity to look further outside of their role and gain experience and exposure in other areas that they might not always necessarily have access or even any kind of understanding or knowledge around as well.
Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you. And so if I was an apprentice and I was on one of your programs, tell me, how would I progress against these KSBs?
So progressing against the KSBs is actively and proactively looking at what you can do in terms of any activities that you can participate in. And it's really looking outside in terms of what your organisation has and what you can be a part of to progress in those certain areas. An example might be contracting, where an apprentice doesn't have anything to do with contracts, but there is contracting within the organisation. So it's reaching out to different departments and looking at possibly shadowing or participating in meetings and gaining more of an understanding of the practical application of these areas as well that they might not necessarily always have access to in their current role.
Right, all right. And so, I mean, and you actively track these, you monitor
Yep.
them with the apprentice line manager as well?
Yeah, so these are tracked. So every learner with Cordie will have a learning coordinator, and every learner progress review, they'll go through the KSB tracker and discuss with the apprentice any progress that's been made from the previous review. This will then be discussed with the line manager. And what we like to do is get the line managers involved and get their take on any recommendations that are discussed for further training on or off the job, to help develop that understanding and those skills further and those behaviours, but also to get their perspective because it might be a case of actually they've got ideas in the pipeline of what's coming up, and they can really support that learner further with those opportunities.
Right, fantastic. So we monitor these as we go through the program, and then finally they get assessed during the endpoint assessment.
Yes, so all of the KSBs are assessed during the endpoint assessment phase of the apprenticeship. So there's currently two standards at the moment, as the standard for the level 4 apprenticeship changed last year. So under the old standard, the apprentice was required to write a 5,000-word business report on a project of their choosing. This report had to cover the majority of the KSBs and demonstrate that within the 5,000-word report. And then the last part of the assessment was a presentation and questioning session, which covered the remaining KSBs. Under the new standard that came in the end of last year, I think around October time, is now the apprentice will be required to do an interview assessment, which will be approximately an hour long. So that will cover 6 questions, and that is based on a portfolio of evidence that the learner will have collected throughout their time on programme. The second phase is a presentation and questioning session, which will cover the other KSBs that weren't under the interview. This will also have questions with it as well. And then lastly, the last assessment is the L4M8 Procurement and Supply and Practice Case Study exam as well.
Fantastic. Matt, thank you so much. Thanks for explaining that. Thanks for telling us how important they are. And thanks for taking the time to chat with us.
No problem. Thank you.